how would you handle a double click in the DOM?
Double click event.
Double click event, right? But like, what if you wanted to handle 4 clicks?
That's crazy.
Whoa,
Probably
what?
just
That's
close
just
the
More
tab.
than 2?
Yeah.
No,
Just
first
close
of all,
the tab.
bad UI. But yeah, the double click event, and the double click event is touchy too, right? Like sometimes, like who knows the debounce between the double click event? I mean, you could probably go figure out, but like you might register a single click, you might not register a double click. I mean, you should never use a double click, by the way. So just if you are, don't do it. But we're going to use observables to go over how you might do that. So what we're going to do is, what do I have on this page? Okay, I have this button. Let's use this to register like how many times we click that are more than 2, and we'll display it on the page. So our objective is to detect any clicks after 2, and then we'll display it on the page. Or maybe we'll animate this circle here, depending on how many clicks we click, something like that. All right, let's try that. So how does that look? Oh, I was using Sublime for this, huh? Cool, so first thing we need to do is grab this button here. So nothing fancy, we'll just grab the button. And then we'll do something very similar to what we did down here. Remember the from event? We're gonna do the same thing, obviously. And the event that we want to subscribe to is going to be the click event, right? So not the double click event.
You need an equals after your var button.
Oh, thank you. Dot from event, the button, not the button stream, and we want to on the click event. So we got that. So the next thing we want to do is go ahead and start transforming our button stream. So the first thing we want to do, so there's a couple of strategies we can use here, but I think the best strategy, so we got to think about it like this. This is where the back pressure comes into, because if we're clicking multiple times, we need a way of only being notified when we reach a certain amount of clicks. So that means we need to use some type of back pressure. But because we do need to keep track of how many clicks we clicked, it needs to be lossless. So we can't use it like a regular debounce here, because the debounce would lose the other values that came in, so we wouldn't know. So we need to keep track of that. So a good implementation, a good operation for that is called a buffer, which is exactly what it sounds like. So we can buffer either for a period of time or a buffer length or both. It's pretty cool. So we can say if the buffer gets this big, then emit. Or if this period of time has passed, then emit. Or if this period of time passed, or if this limit hit, then emit. It's pretty cool. So we'll buffer on a period of time. I think, anybody know like a good debounce for a double click? What would you say?
30 milliseconds.
30 milliseconds? Jesus. Like World of Warcraft? Like,
Yeah.
30 milliseconds? Okay. So we're going to pass in a time here, and let's just debounce for 250. We'll do that.
You grandma.
We'll debounce for 250 here. And then we'll map this, because what are we going to get? What's the value coming in from a click event?
Event.
It's an event. But because we sent a buffer is actually just going to be an array. So we're actually going to get back an array with the events inside of them. So that's what the value is going to be here. So we'll just call this the buffer. And what we want to do is we want to return the length of this buffer here. So we'll return buffer.length. So we only want to continue with the length of the buffer here. And then with that, as you can guess, I wanted the length because I want a filter of how many events are in this buffer. So that's how I know how many times you clicked. So the length of this buffer is the exact indication of how many times you clicked in this 250 millisecond debounce. Make sense? Okay, so we'll filter, and we want everything over 2. So we'll just return clicks greater than 2. Let's just say greater than or equal to 2. So 2 and up. So we got that. And then now we'll subscribe to this, and we'll get the clicks. And what we'll do is we'll put it on the page right here, clicks. Let's do that. So now we'll just say var h1 dot clicks, and then h1 dot inner HTML equals clicks, or we'll say clicks plus x clicks. Cool, so let's try that out. Let's see what happens. So many tabs. Did it refresh? I think so. Let's see what happens. So we click, 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 6 clicks. If I click once, nothing. If I click twice, but outside that buffer, nothing. 3 clicks. 9 clicks. So it works pretty good. Oh, so many tabs. Any questions on this stuff? Is everybody starting to see it? Everybody starting to make sense? How all this stuff is happening here? Yeah?
What if you were wanting to have a continuous count?
A continuous count.
So you just did what, 3, 6, 9 clicks or something like that. You want to add 3 plus 6 plus 9.
So I want to add.
If you wanted to, let's say you clicked it 5 times, and then you clicked it 1 time, and then you clicked it 5 more times. Instead of clearing that, would you have to have? How would you do that within?
Oh, I see what you mean. Well, there's a couple ways. I mean, you could keep track of the state yourself somewhere outside of this observable. You could do it that way, or you can have multiple streams on the same event that all keep track, and then you can merge them in that way.
Okay.
So yeah, there's a few ways you can do it. But I mean, yeah, this thing will it'll click as long as you're inside that debounce. It'll keep going.
If you replace the filter with a reduce one, you could just return the count.
If we replace the filter with the reduce, could we return the count? I mean, this.
And then add that up.
Oh yeah, you could do that. Yeah. Any other questions on this? So you can imagine you can like grab these values and do pretty things with them. Like I was going to animate the circle, but I think we got a lot of other stuff to get to. I mean, if you want to see some animations, I can animate this. Okay, somebody wants to see it, so we'll do it. Okay.
You missed your flight. It's your fault, dude.
Okay.
No, I'm leaving.
I know. We'll go on. I think we've seen enough animations on the first couple days, right? The button moving and stuff. Okay, so basic introduction to observables. Again, there's so many more transformations and operators we can perform, but these are the basic ones, some of the ones that you'll be using the most. The ones we didn't talk about were like scan, reduce, but those are pretty simple. Reduce is exactly what it sounds like, and scan is reduce with every iteration being emitted.